Vijay Dadaji and my dear friends on the podium, and indeed our very respected guests in the audience. It really is an honor to join you all today, to have the opportunity to launch Ringside up close and personal by Vijay Darda. Someone I'm proud not just to call a friend, but an individual whose contributions across various spheres has left an indelible mark on the fabric of our society. As I've written in my comments before the book, in the often tumultuous world of Indian politics, it is rare indeed to find a voice that outlines the key issues in a manner that is succinct, in-depth, and unsullied by prejudice. Many of us are aware of Vijay's impressive achievements as a prominent leader of India's fourth estate and his contributions to the national discourse as a veteran parliamentarian. And indeed, as Shekhar rightly said, though everyone knows which party he has been affiliated to, he manages nonetheless to express his views with an independence and a forthrightness that I think does him and his publications a great deal of credit. I have to say that when media houses in our country are headed by people like Vijay Darda, who are committed to a higher standard of journalism and reportage, our nation is better off for it. As the chairman of LOKMAT Media Group, his astute leadership played a significant role in guiding LOKMAT's journey from its origins in 1971 under his late father, DARDA, whom we paid tribute to at the start of the afternoon, to its position today as one of India's largest regional newspapers, one that is widely recognized as a beacon of truth and credibility. And Vijay's unwavering commitment to responsible journalism has set new standards for the industry, emphasizing the importance of integrity, impartiality, and efficiency. His dedication to unbiased reporting, accurate and ethical journalism has empowered citizens with the information they need to make informed decisions. Through LOKMAT, Vijay has played a significant role in shaping public discourse, in fostering a culture of transparency, and in holding those in power accountable, even when they're from his own party. His relentless pursuit of truth has earned him the respect and admiration of many, consolidating his position as a trusted voice in our national media. He has also, as many of us perhaps don't know, led the group's expansion into the realm of the electronic media through IBN LOKMAT, the television news channel, which has provided a platform for diverse views and voices and perspectives, and a space for meaningful debate and deliberation, which has further strengthened the democratic fabric of our nation. Through his media endeavors, Vijay has exemplified the power of information, the responsibility of journalism, and the critical role media plays in the development of our society. And I might add that I think Shekhar has absolutely right in saying that terms like vernacular actually diminish and demean the considerable heft that so-called regional media has in our country. We tend to think that the English media sets the agenda, but there is no doubt that larger numbers of readers and therefore of voters are swayed by what happens in the Indian languages. And when Shekhar talked about banning the word vernacular, I did a quick Google search to see what we would give as synonyms for vernacular, and it will amuse you, Shekhar, that whoops, where did that go? The problem, the challenges of touchscreen phones. I must have dusted on the way over. But it had words that synonyms of vernacular, things like vulgar, ordinary, common. Those were the synonyms that Google identifies for vernacular, and it does reflect a mindset that many of us profoundly reject, that there is something far more sacrosanct about the languages which are closest to the heart and mind and spirit of our people, and that's why this is so important to stress today. What this book, Ringside, is arguably most successful in doing is to capture another impressive dimension of India's diverse talents. That of being one of India's more clear-eyed commentators. We think of him as an owner, we think of him as a publisher, we think of him as a leading media figure, but he's also a commentator of some acuity. And this extensive collection of articles, covering some of the most important developments in the recent public sphere, is eclectic, informative, and even often prescient. Together they provide a wide-ranging look at a key period of 21st century India, dealing with a diverse array of subjects, ranging from the challenges presented by our fraught relations with Pakistan, to the need to implement strong safeguards that protect the individual citizen's digital privacy, to a compelling argument of rooting India's development priorities in the need to uplift and protect the weakest sections of our society. And then there are slightly more personal essays, like his fulsome tribute to the late former president, Pranab Mukherjee, his characterization of the right of young leaders like Kanhaiya Kumar for having given new meanings to Azadi. All of these kinds of essays present to the discerning reader an immersive and engaging reading experience that would certainly, I think, present the contours of contemporary India's unique challenges and opportunities in an extremely readable and well-informed manner. Vijay told me that the pieces in this book were originally all composed in Marathi and published in Marathi, but the truth is, published in Hindi and Marathi, right? Hindi and Marathi, but the translation certainly betrays none of that. It reads very fluently in English, and I would encourage all of you to dip into it. Of course, in the interest of full disclosure, I must confess that I am the subject of one of Vijay's essays, marvelously titled 3 Cheers for Shashi, which is extremely generous with his praise for my speech in the Oxford Union on the impact of the colonial project and the moral obligation that the colonizers owed to their former colonies. I was touched to read his kind words and agree with the impressive manner in which he goes on to interpret some of the key arguments I presented during the course of my speech. I think Vijay's ability to just touch on anything that catches his attention and share its significance with his readers is really to be commended. To turn once again to the serious contents of the book, the combination of Vijay's credentials as both a towering figure of Indian media and at the same time a public servant committed to a robust, inclusive and democratic India makes him uniquely qualified to offer a nuanced perspective on these matters. One article that I think particularly stands out in this book is his examination of the relationship shared between the media and the political class in India. While viewing the regular or frequent breakdowns in amicable and non-professional relations between these two important stakeholders, including the gradual depletion, I'm quoting him here, gradual depletion of tolerance, patience, and capacity to face criticism amongst politicians, Vijay argues for the need to maintain a basic level of civility and balance between ideology or ideological differences and personal relationships between these groups. It's very interesting if you look at the political people in this room, that they come from a wide variety of parties, and at the same time, they've all maintained pretty cordial relationships with the very people on the dais who are skewering them daily. In making the case that genuine mass leaders must be able to desist from taking criticism in the media personally, Vijay divides Indian politicians into 3 categories. The first one he calls circuit politicians. They are stationed permanently in circuit houses with a garland in their hands. Whenever a leader arrives, they promptly offer him a floral welcome and arrange everything to make their leader stay comfortable in the circuit house. Adopting this route, Vijay may soon become politicians themselves. The second category is called supplements. Party workers belonging to this category issue advertisement supplements in the newspapers to celebrate the birthdays and anniversaries of their leaders and get their photographs published in newspapers along with their leaders. This way, they themselves become leaders, he says. And the third category, for him, consists of those who really have mass support and actually exhibit leadership qualities. And then he says, I'm quoting here, now tell me, how can we expect courteous and mature behavior from politicians who have become leaders by adopting first 2 routes, i.e. circuit and supplement? Now this is certainly an intriguing question, one which Vijay also uses to ask the media to hold up a mirror to itself and to refrain from the kind of crass and motivated reporting that has sadly become all too common in our country today. I have personal experiences of the viciousness of this side of the Indian media, and I've often lamented that too often in our country the fourth estate serves simultaneously as witness, prosecutor, judge, jury, and executioner, whereas the role should only to be that of the witness, perhaps on the news pages, and the prosecutor on the opinion pages, but no more. In ancient times, of course, we used to put our people, our political leaders, through an Agni Pariksha, a trial by fire. Today we put them instead through a trial by media. And I think this actually damages, in many ways, the atmosphere for both politics and the media about politicians, because all right-thinking Indians should hail the media, free media, as the lifeblood of our democracy, because genuinely high-quality media provides information that enables a free citizenry to make the choices of who governs them and how, and ensure that those who govern will remain accountable to those who put them there. It's the media's job to look critically at elected officials' actions or inaction, rather than a marginalia that have no impact on the public welfare, or to take the safe route and look more critically at the opposition than at the government. But we've seen variations of all of these things. The other worry I have is the media's obsession with the superficial and the sensational, which in many ways has trivialized public discourse in our country, and that in effect has involved an application of the watchdog responsibility that must be exercised by the free media in our democracy. It distracts the public from the real questions of accountability with which the governed must confront those who govern, the government. And I say that this is extremely important for us to face, because the fact that the media can serve as a weapon of mass distraction is something that is often put to good political use by those who would like to shift the agenda away from the burning issues confronting ordinary people. The free press is both the mortar that binds together the bricks of our country's freedom, and simultaneously the open window embedded in those bricks. I think no Indian Democrat would ever want to call for censorship or for controls by any government on the free press. I think what we want is not less journalism, but better journalism. And I'm sure that Rajiv, Shekhar, Sanjay would not disagree that better journalism is always in the interest of our democracy. Government needs a free and professional media to keep it honest and efficient, to serve, as it were, as both a mirror to society and a scalpel. If instead all we have is a blunt axe, then I think our society is not well served. A lot more can be said about Vijay's many and equally impressive achievements and the other hats he wears, his contributions as a veteran parliamentarian, his commitment to using his national position to become a relentless advocate for the interests and the welfare of the people of Maharashtra and particularly DARDA, his commitment to social justice and inclusivity, his numerous philanthropic initiatives in a wide range of fields, including healthcare, education, and livelihood opportunities, which have transformed lives, empowering countless individuals to break free from the shackles of poverty, and his efforts as an evangelist for communal harmony in the various interfaith programs he has organized, which frankly have never been more needed in our unfortunately torn society. And above all else, in each of these distinctions, Vijay has clearly established himself as someone who is deeply invested in and committed to India's success. The success of an India that is rooted in the principles of social justice, economic empowerment, pluralism and inclusivity, and a robust democracy where the media and the political class work in tandem for the success of our nation. I want to wish Vijay the very best. First of all, congratulations on the publication of the book and for its success with a wide readership in the languages into which it's been translated. And I congratulate Vijay once again on his many, many accomplishments.